Hey everybody, welcome to Back Issues. I am Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
We're going back in time, everybody. Just like we did in our Off the Rack episode. Click right here to see. But we're talking about Maximum Carnage. Phenomenon, if you will.
Even I was aware of Maximum Carnage.
Really?
I didn't know anything about
Probably
Carnage.
because of the Sega Genesis game.
Probably, yeah.
I think it also was out for Super Nintendo.
Yes, it was.
But
Now, this is the comic where the trucks turn alive and Emilio Estevez is
that's
in it?
Maximum Overdrive.
Okay.
I think that has the Green Goblin in it, though.
It does.
Green Goblin does not appear in Maximum Carnage, though. Maximum Carnage is kind of like a sequel to the origin of Carnage, when Carnage first appeared, like a year or two prior, in which, you know, when we talked about our first episode of Venom Returns, Carnage kind of appears in it.
Yeah.
Right! In which Venom, the symbiote, reproduces asexually in Eddie Brock's prison cell.
I mean, it drops a little bit.
Yeah, it drops a little bit, and his like creepy cellmate Cletus Cassidy winds up getting it, and that's all we see. In the Carnage story, which we've never done before, let's just put it this way: Cletus Cassidy becomes Carnage, and he's like a nihilist murderer who like just enjoys murdering people. It's the only thing he enjoys doing.
Okay.
And he's almost like a stupid '90s version of the Joker, and then he's
Especially
like
that smile of his.
yeah. And he gets the symbiote, and the symbiote is cool looking in red. And I say that because like that's what it was. Like it was cool looking in red. Like back then, you were just like, "Wow, it's cool!" It's like red Venom.
So this is only a year after Carnage was created.
At least a year, if
and,
not two.
And
but
he's
yeah.
already peaked.
Yes.
This is the most Carnage you can ever be, because this is maximum Carnage.
Yeah.
Easily it
He
is.
reached it
And
very quickly.
and Carnage appears more in the future, but this is the culmination of Carnage. Venom and Spider-Man teamed up when they first meet Carnage.
Okay.
And at the end of Venom Returns, Spider-Man decides to leave Eddie Brock Venom on a desert island. He's like, that's enough. You just stay there. That'll be like your prison. Because he thinks that he killed Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man has to take Venom out of retirement. So he and the Human Torch go to an island. They tell Venom, like, hey, listen, you didn't kill me. And I need you to help, like, stop Carnage. Mm-hmm. And Venom's like, okay. After they fight, he's
I
like,
thought he'd be like, no.
no, he's like, ah! They fight, and then he's like, all right, no, I'll help you. And then the two of them go and fight Carnage, and then at the end, Spider-Man betrays Venom by using Sonics to stop Carnage and Venom.
Oh.
And then he hands Venom over.
Wait, is that the end of this book?
That's the end of that book.
Okay.
So the context is they thought they destroyed the Carnage symbiote, but in Maximum Carnage, as it turns out, the symbiote became one with Cletus Cassidy's blood.
Oh.
And so when the doctors thought that they had purged the symbiote from Cletus Cassidy, they just put him in a regular prison.
Right.
And then they drew blood from him in this issue.
Right.
And the
released.
symbiote is unleashed. And he's like, there's a monster in my blood. And it turns out that the Carnage symbiote somehow became part of his blood.
So it's released because they took a little bit?
Yeah,
It's
like
not
they
just there
punctured
all
it.
the time.
He couldn't have just broken out of
At any
his
point?
veins.
I guess not. Or maybe he didn't know. I don't know. It was very unclear.
But he knew that there was a monster in his blood. He said it.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so he did
So
kind
why
of
didn't
know.
he just cut himself so that to release it?
Well,
so
because
could
he
get
was
free?
waiting for the right time. He actually says it during his initial breakout
He
scene.
wanted it to be dramatic.
Yes.
Right.
He's actually a full tilt diva. As
So it really
Iron
didn't
Man
have
would
anything
say.
to do with that drawing blood. He could have done it at any time.
If he wanted to draw his own blood, but he's like,
Right.
but he also wanted an audience, and he wanted to,
Well, I guess he can't draw his own blood because they got him strapped in.
I don't think
Yeah.
he wanted to do it himself. I think he wanted someone else to unleash the animal.
Yes.
Oh, maybe.
That's
Oh,
probably,
now you've done it.
Yeah, and he very much says stuff like that. So Maximum Carnage is really stupid. And I say that
What are you talking
having
about?
purchased...
He's got a battle axe hand.
Yeah, I like that, actually. That's kind of neat.
Is
Like,
Carnage just a way to make it look like there's blood in a comic without there being blood in a comic? Because he's got all these red streamers, and I'm like, oh shit, there's blood. Oh wait, no, that's all just pieces of Carnage. None of these people he's defeating are actually bleeding.
The concept for Carnage was that they wanted to do, like, if Venom's cool, then two Venoms are even cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And Bagley, Mark Bagley, artist for Spider-Man, had a hand in designing Carnage,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted Carnage to be very different from Venom. If it's going to be the son of Venom, more or less,
Right.
let's make him, like, take some ideas, but really go someplace else with it. And that's where, like, the idea of Carnage being able to use the symbiote to make, like, axes and, like, Predator gauntlet knives and stuff.
And throw pieces of himself.
Yeah, and throw pieces of himself. Which, of course, if he throws pieces of himself, they'll kill you. But then they fall apart because they're not attached to the symbiote anymore. Once they separate, they, like, disintegrate.
Right.
Bagley wanted to draw a much more like movement-oriented Venom.
Yeah.
That's why you see more tendrils kind of coming off of
they're
him.
everywhere.
But less tongue.
Yes, there's no tongue. It's just a black mouth.
Yeah.
I liked it. There was no teeth. I always liked that. Like there were like spikes. They didn't have these like Venom teeth. Like he didn't have actual, gums or anything. I liked
Right.
that. But yeah, so Bagley wanted to see a more like movement-oriented Carnage, and he actually wound up getting that version he wanted in the Ultimate Universe. But no, they were like, nah, just make Red Venom. You can have like the tendrils and stuff, which people really responded to.
I will say,
But he does look like blood.
opposed to the black and white costume of Venom, the red and black costume of Carnage looks a lot cooler.
It is cool,
It is
and there's no symbol. It's just like the black mixed with the red.
Yeah.
He doesn't
And it-
need a symbol.
No, it's true.
He is Carnage.
That's right.
Chaos.
And he actually is very evocative of blood itself, and it is probably a way for like the artist to get away with showing more than they probably would be able to get away with.
Right.
Of course, as
That's
we
not
know,
blood. That's just pieces.
That's
of
just pieces of Carnage, yeah.
Never mind those bodies flying all around.
and never mind the fact that like Carnage likes talking about blood or like making blood come out of people and so forth.
Right.
So yeah, Maximum Carnage hits the ground running in a 14-part saga. I remember picking this up. Now there had been Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and then they also launched with the first issue and the last issue of Maximum Carnage, Spider-Man Unlimited, which was a Spider-Man book that had like one issue of regular Spider-Man and then a couple of backup stories by different artists and writers. Those don't appear in this collected volume, however.
You mean this volume collected actually has stories that pertain to
Yes, that's right.
the title?
Not unlike a certain other book that we recently did called X-Men Days of Future Past, which you can click right here to see. This is no irrelevant material whatsoever.
Nice. That's a lot for not having any extraneous material.
Oh no, yeah. And unlike the Clone Saga, which would come a couple years later, they had a plan. They said when it first came out, Maximum Carnage, Part 1 of 14. Which in 1993 I was like, fuck that. I was so mad. I'm like, 14? Eat me. And I bought every issue. But like, I was reading Spider-Man at the time, and I'm like, I'm reading these, and I guess it went faster because it spanned every title. Like each chapter was a new, completely different title of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So it had a totally different creative team sort of working on it.
So that means this changes a lot inside.
Yes, the art shifts entirely.
How about the writing?
This
the
art
writing,
is friggin' crazy. I'm just looking at this.
yes, that's Alex Saviuk.
That I like.
Art.
This is nuts.
It is very nuts. Now it doesn't hurt that they're also in like a nightclub in that
yeah.
scene. But yeah, in fact, here let me share the creative teams we got here. We've,
Okay.
as far as writers go, we've got Tom DeFalco, J.M. DeMatteis, Terry Kavanagh, and David Michelinie. Now you guys might remember David Michelinie because
Yep.
we interviewed him in an old episode of a show we don't do anymore.
Yeah, we did.
Right here to see. We talk a little bit about Carnage, but for the most part we talk about that. So it's 4 guys who write it, but we have 5 different artists. We've got Mark Bagley, who would later on draw Ultimate Spider-Man for a long time. Sal Buscema, who drew the Spectacular Spider-Man number 200 from our last episode of Off the Rack, which you can click right here to see. Ron Lim, who I've never discussed. Tom Lyle, who I will never discuss. And Alex Saviuk, who we were just remarking
Oh,
on.
you're going to discuss them in this article.
And I will in this book, yes.
But never again.
No. So, yeah.
So this spanned, I assume, multiple Spider-Man titles?
Oh, yeah. It spanned them all, and in fact spawned one.
Oh.
It was Amazing, Spectacular, Web of, Adjectiveless, which is just Spider-Man,
Right.
and Spider-Man Unlimited. So it's 5 different Spider books.
How long did it take for this whole thing to come out?
I think about a year. No, what? Well, it was 14 parts, 2 books a month. So, yeah, about 7 months or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were consistent about it.
Oh, yeah, no, it came out, no delays, but there were clearly some filler issues. But they planned 14 parts, so there shouldn't have been a single wasted issue.
Right.
But they wasted a lot of issues. Like, this book could have been done in 3 parts.
Only 3?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why right now. Maximum Carnage is a story in which Carnage is unleashed, and throughout the story, Carnage is like, I have a big plan. I'm going to kill as many people as I can. And that's his plan. And when he's escaping from the Ravencroft Institute, which is just their version of Arkham, he meets a character they introduced in this book called Shriek, who had never been appeared ever before, and they created for this story, and then they would use occasionally in other Carnage stories.
She looks like Domino, but instead of a circle, she's got like a diamond.
Yeah. She's a metalhead. She used to be fat, and she had a real complex about it, so she got hot, and then she got Shriek powers, where she can, like...
How?
I don't recall.
Oh.
She makes a half-hearted reference to being pulled into Cloak and Dagger fame's Dark Dimension.
Oh.
And being in the Dark Dimension changed her. But she was a huge metalhead, so that actually is what unifies her and Carnage, because Carnage is also a big fan of, like, Motley Crue and, like, Metallica and Megadeth and stuff.
Nice.
Murderer.
Yes, and a murderer. And she also has the ability to create, like, energy, and she can shoot it, but she can also use that energy to affect the minds of people. She can turn up their aggression.
Oh.
So,
Like a mosh pit. She's
Like
a portable mosh pit.
Yes. Yeah, that's
It's
exactly
like a
what she is.
walking metal concert.
Yeah, she is like a metal concert. Like, so that's Shriek. So he and Shriek team up immediately.
I like Shriek.
She's fun.
Like, I want to hang out with Shriek.
Carnage is like, okay, I'm gonna like kill everybody in Ravencroft, and then I'm gonna go after Venom and Spider-Man. Carnage is eventually going to create his own motley crew of D-list supervillains, and in return, Spider-Man will make his own.
Well, he has to respond.
Yeah, exactly.
In kind.
Right, mutually assured destruction. He'll create his own shitty band of D-list superheroes plus Captain America, and they'll fight Carnage.
And they're going
America's in this book?
to be called
He
the
is in this book.
Spiderettes.
Yeah, or
Or the
the Amazing.
Spinnerets. Yeah, it's even better.
So
Okay, so who do we got here?
who do we got here? Well, when they first team up, it's Carnage and Shriek.
Okay.
And they kind of play up this whole like lover, we're creating a family kind of thing.
Do they sleep together?
We never really get that.
The answer is yes.
They must, but or Carnage is the biggest 13-year-old poser.
Or,
Right.
rather than sleeping together, their sex is killing people.
Right.
Right, they don't even need to.
No.
Because they get off on murder.
Exactly.
You know what? I bet that's it. That's what it is.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
Because
Carnage
we
is
never
not even
see them.
interested in sex.
No, he is. Or he doesn't say we gotta fuck. He's just kind of they always call each other lover, and they're always
Okay.
sexy or man of mine and stuff like that.
Okay.
They use pet names for each other that are very familiar.
Yeah.
But there's no point where they're like,
You use that? You don't use it all the time?
oh, like man of mine or
Sexy or
sexy. I really don't.
I call a person at the checkout counter sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Hey,
a
sexy,
turn out
what's
for
up?
you.
I've been kicked out of lots of places.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But the honeymoon ends real fast, and then they're ready to start their family. When Carnage and Shriek see what they think is Spider-Man in an alley, but is in fact the Doppelganger, Spider Doppelganger.
Who's that?
The Spider Doppelganger you've probably seen a couple times now. He looks like Spider-Man, but with a Venom mouth and 6 arms.
6 arms and 2 legs.
And 2 legs.
Makes 8.
That's right.
Yeah, he's
Like
an
a
actual
spider.
Like a
arachnid.
spider. He was created
That
from...
mouth is weird.
Yeah. Well, in that one, it's just bad.
It's got to have teeth. Everything has to have giant dagger teeth.
Yes.
Well, I agree that it's like the Venom mouth, but at the same time, it's weird that the mask splits open.
Yes.
Is it not
Yeah.
a costume?
It's not a costume.
No.
That's his skin.
It's not a costume.
Okay.
And his webbing is organic and razor sharp.
razor sharp.
He has
webbing?
razor webbing.
So if you wraps it around your arm, it'll cut your arm right off.
They actually do that earlier in this story. He wraps it around a policeman's neck and then decapitates him with it.
No
my
shit.
Yeah,
God.
and that's when Carnage and Shriek are like, "Baby makes 3."
Oh my god, I want to see that.
Holy shit.
It's a little later, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So Spider-Man immediately happens upon them, fights Shriek, I guess, and then the Doppelganger shows up, and then kicks him in the ribs and knocks him off a building,
Oh.
and they break his ribs. So Spider-Man has these 3 cracked ribs
Oh.
throughout the 14-part story of Maximum Carnage.
No.
Yep. So he's
great.
always in pain.
From the first...
From the first story, he is incapacitated and is barely able to stand throughout the series.
Okay.
So barely any time passes over the 7 months this was released.
Yes. I think it's like a week.
Well, your ribs would be... I mean, if you broke your ribs, you'd be bandaged for a long time.
Well, he
No,
uses
he
his webs
heals like
to-
a...
Oh, that's right. He would heal.
He
but
heals like a spider.
not nearly fast enough.
Okay.
He webs himself to keep them in place, but
He can come back from death in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure he can heal a couple of broken ribs pretty soon.
That's true.
Okay, so
So later he runs into the Cloak and Dagger in an alley. Some gangbangers are going to kick the shit out of him, and then Cloak and Dagger show up and they rescue him.
Okay.
So the Doppelganger came from the Infinity War with like Adam Warlock and shit.
With, like, Thanos?
No, that came later. No, the villain in Infinity War is Adam Warlock. His evil persona, Magus, creates doppelganger versions of some of the superheroes to, like, distract them from his machinations. And one of them is the Spider Doppelganger. He's one of the only doppelgangers that actually, like, remains after the Infinity War. And the Spider Doppelganger is Spider-Man, but evil with, like, no brain and razor webbing. He can also stick to walls, and he doesn't seem to have a spider sense, but he does have, like, Spider-Man's powers.
So he just hangs around New York?
Yeah, he just kind of, like, roams New York like an urban legend until this story.
Like killing drifters.
Yeah, like killing hobos and stuff. Yeah.
Every once in a while,
Staying
people
out of
see
the
him in a sewer.
limelight.
Yeah.
And they think it's an alligator, and they're like, oh no, that's Doppelganger.
Or they're like, Spider-Man's a menace because I saw him eat a hobo one time.
With all 6 of his arms.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they have this epic fight in a church.
Yes.
Well, really, Cloak should just teleport all 3 of them into a hell dimension.
Yes, he should. But he won't. For no reason.
What is Dagger's powers?
Dagger's powers is she can create light weaponry. Like, she can create, like, daggers of light.
Oh.
And then throw them.
And, incidentally, she also, like, in this story, or at least during this period, her light powers counterbalance Cloak's dark powers, because they're both kind of created in the same time, like, in the same experiment.
So wait, if his cloak power and his dark power is because it's a hellish dimension...
Well, it's not really a Hell's Dimension, it's just it's a dark dimension. I don't know
Oh.
what that means, but it's, like, not good.
But there are demons there.
I don't know if there's demons. It's just a bad place.
Oh.
It's a place devoid of light and happiness. It's like, yeah.
Alright, well, does that mean, like, her light powers are heavenly in a way?
Kind of, yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Shriek
the fact
calls her a guardian angel.
yeah, but she's not. But, like, they definitely play up the whole heaven-hell angle with them, and I think they live in that church. So, like, they play up the whole, like, religion angle on Cloak and Dagger. Also, Dagger's dagger outfit
Yeah, the cutout
is
of...
evocative of a cross.
Yeah.
But it's also cutting out her clothing, so it's, like, a little risque. For
well, it
religion.
creates massive cleavage.
It's true.
Well, every female comic
true.
character
Must
at this
have.
point is
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is the 90s.
and then they kill Dagger.
They kill her.
Yeah, Shriek kills Dagger.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
gets blasted.
She
by-
blasts the shit out of Dagger. She dies.
I said that like that old guy who broke the thing.
Does
oh,
she stay-
damn.
Oh, damn. Oh. Does she stay dead?
For a little while.
Okay.
Until the end of the story.
Oh.
A little part of her, like a little part of her light powers.
Imprinted
No, yeah, it
onto Dagger.
It hid in
Onto
Cloak.
Oh.
It actually did?
Yeah, and then like grew onto and like bided its time until it was able to reform as Dagger.
Like a symbiote.
Kind of,
Right.
yeah, like a gestating symbiote. So then, Venom is actually I think on the other side of the country because Venom and Spider-Man had made a deal to leave each other alone.
You take the West Coast and I'll take the East Coast.
Well, more or less go away and I won't attack you anymore. So
Okay.
Venom goes to the West Coast and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and that's like where Lethal Protector and stuff happens.
Okay.
And Venom, of course, sees the newspaper article about how Carnage is back, and he's like, oh, gotta go back to New York and kill Carnage.
Yep.
And if Spider-Man gets in my way, I'll kill him too.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, he immediately is like, I gotta team up with Spider-Man. That's like a big thing with this book.
So that's the smart thing.
Yeah.
It's what the heroes rarely do.
It's true. A plot point that I forgot to mention was earlier on, after Harry Osborn's death, Mary Jane is really unhappy, and she's really worried for Spider-Man, and so she's kind of like, why don't you give up being Spider-Man?
She's really worried for Peter.
Peter.
Or for Spider-Man. Not Peter.
No.
No, fuck Peter.
She's like, I really, really want you to stop being Spider-Man, forever. But I know I can never ask you to do that, so why don't you just stop being Spider-Man for 2 weeks? And he's like, okay. And then she's like, great, let's celebrate
He says okay?
He says okay.
Why would he say that?
They were at Harry's funeral, and he felt really bad. And
Okay.
he's just like, you know what? Maybe I could. There's enough stupid superheroes out here.
Right.
Maybe I could.
And then, of course, Carnage shows up.
Yes, of course. And then, of course,
Where the
this
heck are
epic
the
14
Avengers
part.
then?
Yeah.
The Avengers suck. They're like the Justice League during this time.
God damn it.
So Spider-Man's it. in New
Spider-Man
York.
is it. Well, the Fantastic Four are another dimension or something at this point. And yeah, the Avengers are made up of not Thor, Thunderstrike, Vision, however, is there. I think
Vision's
Cersei, an old Eternal, is there. Black Knight is there.
I don't know who that is.
He sucks. And then, Black Widow.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Why don't we just get Wolverine in? He'll
Wolverine-
solve the problem real quick.
Wolverine at this point was probably dealing with... Yeah, I don't remember what Wolverine was doing at this point. It wasn't quite Age of Apocalypse, so he didn't lose his adamantium yet, although maybe he was losing it soon. Wolverine was too fucking busy with being on the most popular comic book team of all time.
Right.
And they weren't gonna fucking bring it into this.
Healing Factor and adamantium would have taken care of Carnage in a heartbeat.
It's true.
No,
Well, unless Carnage fucking skewered him from over there, because he can reach really far.
Yeah.
Then he would just have sliced the symbiote claws
Yeah,
off.
that's true.
And kept running.
And then
put it this way.
bro, the symbiote can morph and...
It's a fight I'd like to see.
Yeah.
90s Wolverine,
Yeah, that would be cool.
pre-adamantium loss versus 90s Carnage. That'd be super cool.
That'd be cool.
So,
That'd be a really brutal fight.
I agree. So, of course, Spider-Man welches on his deal with Mary Jane immediately.
Well,
because
Carnage
Carnage
shows
is
up.
back.
Yeah, and then gets
You
his,
should have had a stipulation unless Carnage shows up.
Right. It's funny, actually, Mary Jane winds up just whining at Peter throughout the whole series.
God damn it, that's so annoying.
Where she's just like, I thought you said you were going to stop being Spider-Man. And he's like, but Carnage!
Right.
And she's like, so there's other characters out there who could stop Carnage. And he's like, no, I'm the only one who can stop
And
Carnage.
she's like, what about Wolverine?
He would just use adamantium claws, cut through that shit like butter. What are you talking about?
Wolverine's way stronger than you. He could beat Carnage in a second.
At the
Why are
very
you
least, he's more
bothering?
popular than you.
Yeah.
So, Shriek and Carnage and Doppelganger defeat the Spider Friends because they kill Dagger, and Cloak is sad. And then Cloak, by the way, just leaves. He's like,
Oh.
fuck all y'all. So
I'm
then
done.
Spider's like, fuck, I'm all by myself again. Here's what happens.
So, if I was Dagger, I would be really pissed off. It's like, they killed me, and you just left?
Well, he was sad.
You didn't seek vengeance?
No. Later he will, but not now. Now he's too sad.
This is bullshit.
I know. So then they meet Demo Goblin, and Demo Goblin joins their team. It's kind of like Uncle Larry of the group. Totally unrelated, by the way. He's just like, yeah, meanwhile I'm hanging around. And
I have a cool drawing, so
I'm in
this
the
comic with the other cool drawings.
exactly.
He looks like Spawn with that cloak and the hood, especially. The way it's all shredded and pieced.
A little bit.
He's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Demo Goblin sucks.
He also looks like Venom with the tongue.
He does.
And the teeth.
Did we talk about
Everybody's
Demo
got
Goblin?
goddamn teeth.
Yeah.
Like crazy teeth.
No, he actually looks like a
I don't know,
gremlin.
did we talk about
He
Demo
does.
Goblin?
I thought we did, but you know what? Just to be safe, Demo Goblin is the spirit of a demon that had attached itself to one of the previous hobgoblins named Jason Macendale. Macendale had been a demon version of the hobgoblin because of that weird demon thing, like Zarathos, the Ghost Rider spirit, but it's not. And then later, Macendale would free his soul from this spirit, and this spirit, because it had been attached to a hobgoblin, when it was separated, became Demo Goblin. And so it ascribed a whole bunch of hob or green goblin-esque affectations, like a glider, like the hood, like bombs.
Why does every goddamn Spider-Man story need a goblin?
You gotta have a goblin. Goblins are essentially the Spider-Man zeitgeist.
It's
And
not a
two
Spider-Man story without a goblin.
That's right. And
It's
two
not a
goblins
Spider-Man story. It's a Carnage story.
Spider-Man's the main character. It's called Spider-Man Maximum
It's called
Carnage.
Maximum Carnage. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is Spider-Man. I thought it was just
Maximum
Maximum
Carnage
Carnage.
is bigger than Spider-Man.
Yes, well, that's because Spider-Man's implied.
Right.
Spider-Man is always implied.
That's right.
Okay, so...
Oh, so Venom tries to take on Carnage and Shriek and Doppelganger, and
they kill a
they
bunch of
kick
people in
the
Central
shit
Park.
out of him. Yeah.
And they beat Venom.
Yep.
And then Peter Parker's watching it on TV with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
So he agreed.
Well, he comes home and he's like, his ribs are all cracked, and he's like, I do need to fucking sleep.
Okay.
And she's like, cool.
Meanwhile, the TV's saying, appears the massacre in Central Park is over, but bodies line walkways like human litter. Jesus.
Anyway, so Venom gets his ass
Venom's-
kicked,
yeah.
and he's like, I have no place else to go, so I guess I'll go to Spider-Man's
What do
house.
you mean you have no place? Where does he live all the other time?
On the West
He lives
Coast.
on the West Coast. He's not
with
from
homeless
here.
people. So then,
How many people don't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man?
at this point, there's only 5 or 6 or 7 people who know who Spider-Man is.
And Mary Jane is pissed
Oh,
that
yeah.
Venom showed up.
She's like, oh my god, I can't believe... You said we were going to have a little time to ourselves, and then your friend from college shows up. He wants to sleep on the couch.
And she doesn't like that he's treating him okay.
Yeah, she's like, Venom threatened our lives.
Yeah.
now you're letting him sleep on the couch. It's bullshit.
Blast it, Peter. You can't even keep your promise to stop being Spider-Man for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
Says
because
outraged.
he's always
She's
Spider-Man.
They're also trying...
I don't like this Mary Jane.
That's because neither did they. And they're trying to undo the marriage.
Oh.
That's because at every turn, these
that's
people
why
are...
she's smoking.
Yeah, they're trying to make you not like her.
So that when she goes away...
You'll be glad of it.
So that we can make Spider-Man young again.
Yeah.
Hip.
They've been trying to do this forever. And so they're like, they tried every... I'm telling you,
That
when we
sucks.
talked about this, and I said they tried everything, they try everything.
Wow.
But they were also like, she's also a hugely popular character, and people like her,
Right.
and she won us an award for a most promising female character.
Look, just
who,
have
doesn't
either
overpower
Peter
natural.
or Mary Jane sleep around a little bit, and
Well, what's funny? Some of them actually tried those story arcs, but at the end, she always chose Peter. It only strengthened their resolve to be together.
All right, but what about Peter? Have Peter go out with Black Cat.
You can't have that. You can't have your protagonist cheat on his wife.
You can.
You can, but it doesn't make him a sympathetic or...
No, then he's a douche.
Yeah, then he's a douche.
Yeah, but then he can be the hip swinging guy and be like, I can date whoever I want.
Yeah, and then
you're married.
And also, he's supposed to, we're supposed to identify with him.
Yeah.
We want to do the things he does.
I do want to do that.
You want to cheat on
You
your
wanna cheat on
girlfriend
your
or
No,
wife?
I just want to sleep with Black Cat.
Well, that's
Yeah, but
fair.
you're not married.
Yeah, he already
You can't
did.
be him.
Here's the other thing. He
I'm
already
also
did.
not a spider.
No.
Yeah, he's past that.
He already banged Black Cat.
Really?
Moved on. He settled down. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he
in the
tapped that.
80s?
The point is, so then they fight. And, Carnage literally kills thousands of people.
We don't see that.
You see that every once in a while.
But you see that he can kill with impunity, and there's large periods of time where Spider-Man can't stop him.
Right.
So you can, if you do the math,
thousands of
he's
people were killed. And
Well, does he ever stop? Is there ever a moment where he's just like, all right, I've killed
enough?
750 people, now it's time to have lunch. What do you guys want
they
to do?
occasionally stop to argue or to establish, later on they're going to capture Venom and they're going to take him to the Statue of Liberty and torture him for a while. So there isn't a lot of death happening there.
right. And they're at a museum talking after they kill a bunch of people.
Yes.
Well, yeah, after they kill
Yeah, usually they kill a bunch of people and then they hang out in the empty place. Now there's no people alive.
See, that's fun.
Yeah.
I just want to wonder, what the places that they've gone around to kill people.
Yeah.
All right, so the museum. How about Central Park?
That's the fun. They
decide where to kill
do.
people?
That's the first place they go, Central Park, and they kill a
Alright.
bunch of people. But it's funny because they don't go on a veritable New York City tour where they're like, let's go to the Guggenheim and
Like
kill
the
everyone
Big
there,
Apple.
or or let's go to to 30 Rock and kill people there.
We'll go to that great deli, Katz's Deli. We'll kill everyone.
Kill everybody and then have a great sandwich.
Well, all right, let's have the sandwich first because they make a good sandwich, and then we'll kill everyone.
Yeah, we'll tell the deli guy that we're not going to kill him, so he makes us sandwiches, and then we'll kill him.
This poor Spider-Man. I'm watching him form this team, and he's got all right. So he's got Black Cat and Venom, and he has to be like,
Oh, that's tricky. He's
okay, no killing.
Yes, and it's funny because every time he does, they're like, "You're a tool. We're gonna kill people." And later, Venom and Black Cat are gonna, not that they're gonna hook up or anything, but their ideologies start to cross over. But Black Cat's like, Venom's got the right thing. We have to kill them because there's no way to stop them. And Spider-Man's like, "Oh my god! Is there anyone here who A, respects me, or B, isn't a complete lunatic?" The answer is no.
It was like, show
At least not
hands?
until later.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spider-Man's raising his hands like, come on, guys.
Nope.
Oh shit! Now Cloak's back in this, but he's getting his butt kicked.
Yep, because Cloak gets his ass kicked all the time.
Yeah. Surely you haven't forgotten Cloak. It's a line he says.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? You left?
So he goes to fight them on his own. Basically.
Yes, because he's like, I'll get revenge for Tandy.
Yeah.
Ah, finally.
There you go.
Unfortunately,
What
it looks
idiot, he does it
gets
on his own.
saved
I know,
by
he's
the
such a
new
tool.
Super team.
Yep, new super team of idiots.
And we're only. Oh my god! This is only a quarter of the way through the book. We
Yeah.
gotta speed this shit up.
I know. So, like I said, so they form their teams, and then Carnage and his friends just kill people, and Spider-Man and his friends start fighting with each other. They just start arguing with each other. The other problem is
What
Shriek's-
happens? Oh, sorry.
Shriek's powers where she can make everyone angry. She starts doing that everywhere they go. So not only are Carnage and his team killing everybody,
but the New Yorkers are freaking out.
New Yorkers are freaking out, and so they're killing each other. So Spider-Man's like, I gotta stop these riots, but Carnage is out there killing people too. Like, I am completely over my head in this.
Yeah.
And
like an army of superheroes.
yes, and he doesn't get it because he gets like a bunch of crappy characters. The other funny thing is, like, at no point, there's only one time the Avengers show up. It's at the end when they beat Carnage. And they go, okay, well, I guess we'll all wrap things up here. We'll put him on the Quinjet and take him into custody. Thanks a lot, crackerjack job. It's probably what formed my, like, real resentment of the Avengers until much later. But I was like, holy shit, did you guys do anything? The Fantastic Four aren't home. At one point, they're like, we need the fucking Human Torch, because Carnage's symbiote, much like Venom's symbiote, is not immune to fires and sonics. So they go there, and the fucking Fantastic Four are not home. So they have to break into the Baxter building, destroy all the defenses, and then steal the sonic gun that they invented to stop Venom. And at one point, like, they also team up with Firestar.
Why can't they just, like, grab a giant bell? Kind of like in Kung Fu Hustle.
Because, here's the thing. And what they find out later is actually, like, the gun is much less effective against Carnage than they expected. Because the Carnage symbiote is in his blood. It's not quite a symbiote like Venom's symbiote.
Okay.
So it's not quite susceptible to the same dangers that would hurt the Venom symbiote. It's, in fact, evolved past some of that. So the sonic gun doesn't work at all.
It might be in his blood,
Right.
understandably so.
Or it is his
Just
blood.
like Venom's costume comes from inside his skin.
Yes.
But it's still on the outside of him.
Right.
Well,
but it's not
they need
quite
to
a
get
symbiote
sonics
anymore.
into his bloodstream.
Right, and they can't, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, because sound doesn't penetrate past the skin.
Well, and it should, because it's in like a gun form.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there you go. And and they just bitch at each other until the story ends.
Did they save anybody?
They constantly try, and they do, in fact, save people. You just saw this guy get melted. That's because that's Carrion, another crappy Spider-Man villain.
Oh.
Carrion is like a science experiment gone wrong. He was originally like the Jackal's clone, but then, like some guy got the Carrion virus, and so he's Carrion now.
Even look, he's got a purse.
He's kind of like a Goblin too.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He's even got the little hood.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking goblins.
Yeah.
he's not a Goblin.
He's got the hood. He looks like a
I know, he
goblin.
looks like a Goblin. He's nice Carrion. So Carrion, and Carrion joins the Carnage team.
Oh, Jesus.
And he's like he's like their
worse.
kid. Like and
Why are they in a club in the middle of the? Shouldn't the whole city be on lockdown? Like, who's going outside when there's crazy supervillains?
the city's a big place.
New
It's like-
Yorkers. New Yorkers don't go.
That's right. Yeah, come on.
Why you Mary Jane
You gonna
dancing at
stop
a
us
time
from
like this?
dancing?
She's dancing because she's just like, Peter didn't listen to me, and he's not. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go out and dance. I'm just going to dance my cares away. And that's actually something that she used to
Mary
do back, like during the
Well, she did that in
Torment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
she's like, Spider-Man's out fighting the lizard. I'm gonna dance, and they try. She doesn't do this. She's not like this throughout the whole book. Throughout the whole book, she's either like a nagging spinstress wife, or she's a doting like wife who's just like, oh, my poor husband is. And then this one, she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna dance. And then like the fucking roof
With a
caves
lot
in.
of guys.
Yeah. And then the fucking roof caves in, and Spider-Man like kind of rescues her, and then like he's like, I gotta go, and he just leaves her in this like wrecked building with all these dead people. And you're just like, what the fuck? Clearly, like, some of these writers were like, yeah, I like Mary Jane. Some of these writers are like, fuck Mary Jane.
I kind of feel like Spider-Man was just like, hey, I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're wearing that out, huh?
Okay.
Nice.
Well, I'm going to go do
How about you
something
walk
by
home
myself,
alone?
too.
Yeah, maybe I'll...
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, maybe me and my friends are going to
Maybe I'll
fucking...
go
hang
with
out.
Black Cat.
Yeah, maybe me and
we'll,
Black will team up.
Dance.
By team up,
Over
I mean
there.
genitals.
Yeah. That's just...
Oh, now she's clutching a pillow.
Yeah. We could do a whole package on the completely inconsistent characterization of Mary Jane and the obvious writer's hatred of this character or her like tethering to
Or what they
Spider-Man.
have to do with her.
Yeah. At one point, they almost beat Carnage because they team up with Firestar, who sucks, and but she's basically the Human Torch in that she can like use fire,
Yeah.
and that Carnage is susceptible to.
Okay.
And she winds up like roasting Carnage and like blasts the suit like off of him, so he's just like a
wow.
naked asshole. And everyone on the team except for Spider-Man's like, keep doing it.
Right.
Just burn him. Just burn him. then
Spider-Man's like, no.
Yeah, Spider-Man's like, don't do it! And then Firestar, who like kind of looks up to him, is like, oh my god, what have I done? And she stops. And
then Carnage goes and kills more people.
Well, then fucking Venom uses the sonic gun on him, because actually when Carnage and his team capture Venom and string him up in the Statue of Liberty, they hang him over a bonfire and just blast him with the sonic gun over and over again.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, they just torture the shit out of him.
Wow.
And Venom escapes because through convenience, because the writer's like, oh shit, how's he going to escape? While they weren't looking, he put a piece of his symbiote in the sonic gun that like destroyed it. So when he fired it again, like the symbiote just like blasted out of the suit and or out of the gun and like got onto him. And he's like, okay, no, I'll escape. And then he's like, more like, run away. Like, oh my god. So anyway, they're almost gonna kill Carnage, and the Shriek's like, oh no, you don't. And she's like, slaps him in the face and cuts him, and then he's like, yeah, thanks a lot, like the pain, and then like the blood comes out, and he's like, nah, and he's Carnage again. And he's like, and now, no, and that's when he says that the symbiote no. See, I always assumed that like the suit was part of him, and Carnage kind of makes that clear in the beginning, but in fact, when she cuts him, he's like, now you've done it. Now the suit's part of my bloodstream, so you'll never kill Carnage. Like, the suit was hiding in his blood, but now that it's attached itself to his bloodstream, like, he can never be, like, not Carnage. Or or Carnage is even stronger than
he
before.
can't revert back to...
No, he can revert back.
Oh.
It's just that, like, the suit's stronger than ever.
That doesn't
And that was...
make any sense.
And that was at part 8. So we have 6 more fucking parts. They're like, what, you just made him more powerful for no reason? So then, anyway, and it doesn't matter, but let's get into some
All
other...
he had to do was get bloodied, and he could become even more powerful. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
That'd be funny, though, if he was just, like, slicing onions.
Yeah, and he's like, oh!
Ooh.
I'm Super Carnage!
That's all it took. cut.
Yeah,
He's reading a book.
He should just keep cutting himself to get more powerful. That's what it takes.
No, he should start cutting other people and letting the symbiote get into them.
Oh, just
and then you can
spraying
have
it
just
like a
like
virus.
tons of carnages.
Yeah. That's maximum Carnage.
Yeah.
So-
Does he at any point say maximum carnage?
No one says maximum Carnage. No. No one says maximum Carnage.
Alright, what happens with Aunt May in this story?
Aunt May hangs out with Peter Parker's recently resurrected parents, and they're holed up in their apartment, in like Pete and Mary Jane's apartment.
Recently resurrected, but they're robots, right?
They turn out to be robots, yes.
But you don't know that.
You don't know that at the time. You just think that... Because the idea was that Richard and Mary Parker were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who were captured by Soviets, and they were like in a Soviet prison camp, but when the USSR fell, they were forgotten about. So they were just like stuck in this prison, and then finally they were released, and they like came home.
So long as Aunt May is not integral to this story.
Not anymore.
Good. I am sick and tired of her being like a critical plot point where like she comes in and she's like, "Oh, Peter, you can't do this, or you have to."
She has one.
Shut up.
She's kind of like the counterbalance to the light versus dark motif in this book, because Peter's dad is really miserable and cynical, and he's like, "This place is full of animals. This place is a cesspool. No one believes in each other. No one helps each other. Everyone's a monster. And they're the monsters I fought when I was like in war, and they're the monsters that I deal with every day. And like the only way to beat them is to like become them. Like he's just this really cynical douche.
Okay.
And Aunt May is all about like, no, you have to have hope. You have to believe. Like you have to believe in love. And so they're the two kinds of like the light and dark in Peter's soul. Like, Peter could succumb to the darkness, but because he has Aunt May and Uncle Ben's influence in his life, like, he will always lean towards the light. So that's all. So Spider-Man's team, we never really went over that. Spider-Man's team is Spider-Man, Venom, Black Cat, Firestar, Deathlock, who shows up for no fucking reason.
And joins the good guys?
Deathlock's a good guy.
Oh,
really?
He's a bad guy.
It's because he looks like a bad guy.
Exactly. He looks like a zombie mercenary.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Okay.
I mean, he is a mercenary.
A Frankenstein
and a zombie
killer.
Yeah. He's he's a good guy.
Well,
yeah. Michael Collins is a good dude. So, Iron Fist shows up.
Okay.
Well before his popularity in Immortal Iron Fist.
Oh.
He shows up to rescue Deathlock, and then they team up with Spider-Man. Okay. There's a cool moment where the riots are out of control.
Okay.
And Iron Fist uses his like chi to like tap into the collective consciousness of everybody,
Okay.
and just chills them all out for a second, and it like breaks Shriek's grip on them.
Oh.
But like one of them's an asshole and like throws something at him and breaks the concentration, and then everyone freaks out. And Spider-Man's like, "Wow! Like you stopped that riot without throwing a single punch. If you could teach that to all of us, then we have a hope." Mm-hmm. And Iron Fist is like, "It's not really a trick, but I could teach it to you. It would only take about 8 or 10 years."
And Spider-Man's like,
Spider-Man just starts punching a chimney, and he's just like, he's just so fucking miserable.
I'm loving this book.
Yeah. So then they fight, and then at the end, like, it's dumb. Like, they fight, and they, like, whittle down the group. Eventually, Captain America shows up at the lowest point. I love it low. Because, like, Shriek and Carnage and everybody beat the show. Morbius joins the team, the living vampire, for no fucking reason.
Well, to counterbalance the paleness of Shriek.
Right. We need a
Well,
pale
you
guy.
got a pale person? We gotta have a pale person.
Yeah. So, Venom's defeated. Firestar's power was depleted because she used it all trying to defeat Carnage. And, like, they kicked the crap out of Spider-Man, and Black Cat's just a person in a sexy costume.
Right,
so that's,
so she gets-
Black Cat's just a cosplayer, so she's just, irrelevant. And then finally Captain America shows up.
And he's like, who are you guys?
And Spider-Man's like, "Oh my god, Captain America's here. Like, we finally have a shot." And Cap's like, not really. I'm just Captain America."
Right. I
And-
can't project any kind of power or
No,
force.
I can hit them with a shield, and they'll probably just take it away from me.
Yeah.
So actually, the only thing
But
that
he's a great leader.
He is a great leader, but he shows none of that leadership in this book. Like, he's a brilliant strategist and everything. None of that is present in this story. The only thing he does that's useful is he brings them to Avengers Mansion, so everyone can chill out for a minute.
Right.
And they can, like, look up information, which they don't use. So also, like, this group kind of splinters off, like Cloak and Morbius are like, we need to kill them, and like,
Right.
I'm looking for vengeance, and blah blah blah. It's just like, who gives a shit?
Well, thank God the bad guys are all on the same wavelength. No, we just kill everyone.
Yeah. Now later they will like have a problem because like they start arguing with each other and shit, and Demo Goblin's like, "Okay, I'm sick of you people yelling at each other. This is fucking dumb. I'm out." And he just bails.
Nice.
Oh my god.
And then Spawn shows up.
What? Spawn shows up?
I'm sorry, his name's Nightwatch.
Oh, Nightwatch.
Nightwatch shows up. My bad. I got it confused because he came
looks
out 3
exactly like
because he
Spawn.
came out 2 years after Spawn, and he's exactly like Spawn.
One cool looking drawing
I
after
said, why is
another.
Jesus there?
That's just a homeless guy. He's a vet actually.
Oh.
He's helping Cat.
Eventually, well, because like Shriek's amplifying all their negative energies and all their negative emotions,
Right.
so you see it like individually in those different people. Black Cat, by the way, she gets her ass kicked and she's like, "Fuck this." She just bails.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out. She shows up in the last like page of the last issue.
Kind of like the Avengers.
Yeah, like the Avengers. She's like, "Hey guys." She does more than the Avengers actually. Right when Venom frees himself, we're kind of like on part like 9 or so.
Okay.
That's when like Cloak is praying, like he's given up on trying to get vengeance.
Okay.
And he's just like, I don't know what else to do. And it's also when Iron Fist does his like mind trick. So it's like when people start to realize that like violence is not going to solve this. Like fighting them will
Right.
not win.
Okay.
And Cloak starts praying, and that's when Dagger reappears.
Oh.
It's because of Cloak's like connection to God and his belief and his like his decision not to.
Well, it's because he turns the light, and the heaven
turns to
dimension
the light.
instead of the hell dimension.
Yeah, but
Well, he turns to the light, and that's what like helps Dagger.
But
reconstruct
Dagger,
herself.
why would that be like a turning point? Like, she's not that useful.
No, she's not, but she represents the light. She represents like the hope of everyone.
Okay.
And in
Because
fact,
without her, Cloak is useless.
yes.
Okay.
Well, and it's funny because like he's not because
Not physically.
no, he was because
just mentally.
he can't. Well, yes, but he can't. He can't teleport without Dagger's help.
Really?
Yes, but
They changed that recently, right?
yeah,
Okay.
but he does teleport after she dies. And Spider-Man's like, I thought he couldn't teleport without her, but all right, well, whatever.
And
it's
then
like
just ignore it,
because she doesn't
because there was a
because she
piece.
never died.
Because
yeah.
she was there.
Yeah. So then they have their plan, and their plan is they're all going to bail and leave Spider-Man to fight all of them.
and they're going to turn Deathwalk into...
Well, that comes later.
Because,
So
yeah.
Spider-Man's like, everyone ran, but not me.
Right.
Like, and bring it on. And you as the reader are like, fuck yeah, Spider-Man, here we
Yeah.
go. And they just kick the shit out of
I
him.
was going to say, fuck yeah, Spider-Man. No, get out of there, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
You're
they're gonna
going
kill
to
you.
die.
Yeah.
He gets a few kicks in.
He gets a few
and
kicks in.
then-
He's badass. But then Deathlock shows up in their Hope Machine.
Their Hope Machine?
Hope.
So then they blast them with the Hope Machine.
What is that?
It's a machine they built that they put Deathlock in that fires Hope Rays, and it knocks out Shriek and makes her, like, believe in love, and it makes Carnage go crazy.
So it's bullshit.
What is it?
It's a machine.
How is it powered?
It's powered by love, Ethan.
Then
No,
why
it's
is
powered by
Deathlock
like
using
it's powered by like batteries and shit.
What does it do? I don't understand.
Shoots hope.
How do you build something that shoots hope? I don't know what that means.
Listen, it's a machine that makes you believe. It's almost like a god machine.
Is it
Ethan,
harnessing
or a
someone's
Deus
power?
ex machina?
Who built it? They don't have any
They
genius.
do. They do. Deathlock's a computer whiz.
Oh. But this is not a computer. This is a energy projection.
Yes,
device.
but he
You need
uses
Reed
information
Richards.
from the
if
internet.
If you want to make a
Richards
magical
is in-
machine and you say, well, Reed Richards built it, okay. It's
He didn't.
established that
He's
he
in
can
another
build
dimension. Deathlock built
magically amazing machine.
I know.
None of these characters
Nope.
can do that.
They can't.
So how
Look,
they build it?
It's not
Deathlock
actually
built
firing
it.
hope, it's firing endorphins.
Right, probably actually.
I don't know.
But anyway, it makes. And then Dagger tries. She's like, "I forgive you, Shriek," and she's like, "Ah!" And then they blast her with the Hope Machine.
Yeah, well, that was before this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I failed, but it's like, no, you proved we could win. And
Yes.
then this happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
So then
And they use the Hope Machine.
yeah. Well, then they shoot Carnage with the Hope Machine.
Oh, and does it explode?
He explodes. Well, like,
Oh.
yes, it does.
Okay.
It explodes every single blood cell in his body.
No, it
So he has
overloads.
no more blood.
Well, because okay, this is the big thing. There's actually a lot of controversy about Maximum Carnage when it came out and afterwards, which is Spider-Man will not kill Carnage,
Right.
Right.
but everyone else wants to, and readers were really divided over this like Civil War-esque "whose side do you want" debate, which was
Like, kill or don't kill.
yes, kill or kill, yeah, kill or don't kill Carnage,
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
and Carnage's resistance to the Hope Machine kills him. And when like the dust settles, there's just his naked corpse with his Carnage face over it. And everyone's like, "Congratulations, we won!" And Spider-Man's like, "This is not a victory. Like, we killed him." And even Cap's like, "It's okay. Don't worry about it."
Well, I mean, we didn't kill him.
He killed
Hope
himself.
he chose to die.
Chose to die, yes.
And
Spider-Man's
Cap
like,
says Carnage was willing to die for his...
for his cause,
Sins.
for his beliefs.
For
Like,
you.
we were willing to believe. We were, yeah. He's
Jesus.
so like no. We were willing to die for our beliefs. He's willing to die for his. So then everyone leaves, and then Spider-Man goes to Central Park to like chill out for a second, and he runs into Venom, and Venom's like, "You beat Carnage without me. I'm gonna fucking kill you."
What? God damn it, Venom.
And then Carnage shows up, and then Spider-Man and Venom have to beat Carnage all by themselves.
Which
No.
can't work.
That's fucking dumb. Why didn't you just do that?
Why didn't you just
If
do
you wanted
that?
to see Spider-Man and Venom team up and beat Carnage, just fucking do that.
Right?
You
Why did
understand? We said at one part of 14.
Yeah, we didn't know what else to
were
do.
we supposed to do?
So actually, and it's fun because like, so Carnage didn't die. He took a corpse, and he wrapped a piece of his symbiote around the corpse.
Oh.
So they assumed he died. So then it just invalidates the last 13 parts.
That's infuriating.
Spider-Man and Venom fight Carnage. Carnage escapes, and he's also like kind of whacked out by the whole like Hope Ray.
Okay.
So he's a little bit more like manic and discombobulated than usual. So he's actually like a little bit more. So actually, no, he didn't invalidate all of the other 13 parts.
Right, 'cause he's
Without
weak.
that last part, he
Right.
wouldn't have been weakened.
Okay.
So whatever.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been
13
weakened by bullshit
parts.
magic.
Yes, by a magic machine.
He had 13 books to accomplish him being slightly weakened.
Yes.
So that they could actually beat him.
Yeah.
So
And-
that only 2 of them could actually be
Right.
Right.
So, and actually Venom winds up like, he's like, "Get out of my way, Spider-Man." He punches him in the broken ribs, which hurts the ribs more. And Spider-Man's like, "I can't even move." So he goes to the hospital. He runs into Mary Jane. They like reconcile.
I can't even deal with this.
I can't even. And then but then they both go home. The doctor actually winds up like wrapping his ribs, and she's like, "I thought they didn't do that anymore." And he's like, "Yeah, like they only do it for like Olympic athletes who like are gonna go back out and like, you know, like train." And she's like, "Well, you're not like gonna go out and like be Spider-Man."
Oh,
and he's
no.
like, "Yeah." And she's like,
We just made up.
And then she lights up a cigarette.
"No." She actually
And
says,
she looks for the makeup
no,
sex.
Actually, they do have makeup sex, but but then she's like, "You know what?" He's like, "I'm sorry, Mary Jane. I know that you're just gonna give me the riot." And she's like, "No. You're Spider-Man, and there's no change in that, and I love you." And they kiss.
Oh.
And then he's like, he's reinvigorated.
Okay.
So then
And his ribs instantly heal.
like the Grinch is hard. So fucking Carnage goes back to like the orphanage where he was kind of raised. Venom goes there to kill him. Spider-Man shows up
How
to
does
stop
Venom know that about the orphanage?
because that's where Spider-Man fought Carnage in the first appearance of Carnage.
Oh, okay.
So Carnage is like freaking out, and Carnage winds up going to the cemetery where his parents were buried, or his mother was buried. And he's going to dig her up and like ask for her forgiveness because he killed his mom for trying to kill his dad who was trying to kill him. Or maybe it was the other way around, and that's how he puts it. So it's always like mixed up. So he goes to the cemetery, he's digging up his mother's grave, and then Venom shows up and goes, "Way to go, sicko! You found out a way to be even more weird than you were before." Yep, like read this line, there it is.
Way to go, sicko. Is your mind so fried that you're forced to dig up your greatest hits?
What a douche. So, then they fight, and Venom winds up body-checking Carnage into some generators.
I assumed it would be into Spider-Man.
Yeah. No, into some generators. Alright, before they do that. Venom is, like, determined to protect innocence.
Okay.
People who are, needed protection.
Right.
And,
lethally, if necessary.
And Spider-Man's like, don't you see, he's basically like reverted to a man-child. Like, he doesn't have any control over himself.
Right.
And,
He needs to be protected from himself.
yeah, and then Venom's like, is he right? Like, do you need my protection, or do you need me to kill you? And, like, and Carnage's like, oh, that punch you gave me sure knocked me back into my senses. And Spider-Man's like, okay then. And then he just knocks him into some generators. And then the both of them explode. And Carnage is, like, the symbiote protected Carnage, like, Cletus Cassidy's body.
Okay.
So he's okay, but Venom is nowhere to be found. And in fact, Venom
bullshit.
like limps off and like lives to fight another day.
The fact that Cletus is not even burned.
No, well, they
whatsoever.
burned the suit off of him, and he's fine.
Yeah.
He had exactly
Energy
enough suit to absorb just the
The explosion.
That's not how energy works.
And of course, Black Cat showed up to like kick Carnage in the back, and she's like, "I'm sorry that like I ditched."
Well, she was injured, right?
So where are the
She was
Avengers?
injured. They show up after that, so they've got Cletus Cassidy's body. Or his unconscious body.
They've got the unconscious body of a regular deranged human, and they're like,
and
well,
then the
we'll
Avengers
save
show
the
up.
day.
It's literally the last page.
The Avengers show up and they're like, "We'll take it from here, Spider-Man. Good job." Like, where the fuck were you?
I can imagine Spider-Man being like, back the fuck off.
I wish-
If you try and
It'd be
take
so
this
amazing.
from me, I will murder all of you.
Yeah, it'd be so amazing.
Black Cat thinks to herself, these Avengers don't look so tough. I'll bet I could make the cut if I tried. You
Yeah.
probably could.
You probably could at
You
this
did
point.
more in this book than they did.
Yeah, then Thunderstrike.
What is this at the end with the coffin he was digging up was empty?
Yeah, the coffin was empty. So, like, was he telling the truth? Did he kill his parents or what? Like, I guess it's just another mystery in the Carnage story.
No, the mystery is, why is there just an empty coffin in the ground?
Yeah, why would that ever happen?
Right. We don't know.
Well, no, we're just going to bury some money.
Yeah, I don't know.
But why would
Waste
you?
it.
Why would you add that detail to the book if it doesn't mean something?
I don't know. And they never address it again. Oh, and incidentally, the grave site that they go to also has Harry and Norman Osborn's graves as well.
Well, there's only one grave cemetery in all of New York.
Yeah, where all of the people that Spider... I'm surprised like they didn't run into Uncle Ben's grave and Gwen Stacy's grave and, Captain Stacy and fucking Gene Deerwolf and everybody. Like, it's...
This is so... Oh my god, this is so ironic, this ending. Black Cat's like, even though he's in Avengers custody, I don't know if I feel safe. Like, monsters like that always have a way of returning. And then Spider-Man says, you need to have a little faith, pretty lady. Believe it or not, some monsters stay dead and buried forever, and their ghosts can't haunt you unless you allow them. And it shows him walking away from the graves of Norman Osborn and Harry Osborn.
Who would eventually
do exactly that and come back and haunt him.
Yes. There you go. Maximum Carnage. Maximum dumb.
I wish you saw more Carnage in this book.
There's a lot of all over this book. Literally, he's in every other page.
No, I'm not... Not the character Carnage.
Oh, actual Carnage?
Actual Carnage. Like, actual scenes of them just being like...
Maximum Carnage. What the fuck? Finally did it. 90s-tacular, kinda. I mean, like, it's funny because there's, like, it's pretty timeless in that the shit that happens can happen in any era.
Yeah.
Happen 2000, 2010, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
80s. The only thing
Art's
that's 90s
good.
about it is the outfits people wear.
Yes.
Like Firestar's little jacket over her jumpsuit.
Or all of Mary Jane's outfits.
Every
outfit
single
Mary
one
Jane
of
wears.
them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
or, every half outfit that she wears.
Right.
Yeah.
Outfit or lack thereof.
Her tops get smaller and smaller. By the end of the book, there's a scene where she's
Underboob.
wearing something that's just like this big.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hey, click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps us out. And click the sanitation here to see every episode of back issues we've ever done. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
We'll see you guys next time. The upcoming Secret Wars are going to have different universes where they take a classic or popular Marvel story and pretend like that's its own reality, its own continuity, and that it kept going. Civil War, Days of Future Past, Future Imperfect, all kinds of shit. They could have done a Maximum Carnage universe where it mattered and was
Right.
cool. Because at no point does anyone in any other book in this shared Marvel universe go, New York is totally fucked. 8,000 people died
Right.
because of some D-list supervillains. Like, it's never felt or never addressed in any other book besides Spider-Man again. And even then,
Weird.
even in Spider-Man, they're like, let's just pretend that never fucking happened.
Yeah. Well,
The only
that's messed
time
up,
Maximum
right?
Carnage really comes up again, in any recent memory, is in the Batman-Spider-Man crossover by DeMatteis and Mark Bagley,
Alright.
in which Joker and Carnage team up, and then Joker betrays Carnage and blows up a building, and then they find Carnage's corpse, and and Batman goes, looks like Carnage is no match to the Joker. And Spider-Man's like, he might have done this before. And Batman's like, oh, when he wrapped a piece of a symbiote around the dead body, that Maximum Carnage story, right? And Spider-Man's like, you do your homework. And then Carnage shows up from behind the thing. He's like, all right, I couldn't fool you twice. You got me.
That's amazing.
I was like, what?
Yes.
I'm like reading that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Batman's like, the whole Maximum Carnage affair, if I remember correctly. Spider-Man's like, you read Maximum Carnage.